Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. This segment is brought to you by Plum Lending. Great place to get loans from like $1 to I think up to $10 or $20 million online. Visit getyourplumloan.com. Well, today we're talking about office tenant strategies, and it's so important today to have the right environment for your office. And please welcome my next guest, Francina Price. She's President of Global Planning and Program Manager at Champions IFM, which stands for Integrated Facilities Management. And here in Studio One, Francina, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always an honor.
One of the things that I think a lot of employers are concerned with in their space today is health and wellness. So you guys are on the cutting edge, helping with facilities, with people and places, and helping with these projects. So what are you seeing for health and wellness? What are some of the trends you're seeing today?
Well, we're seeing it's a continued trend. It's definitely a necessity. I think it's not just going to be a trend. It's going to be something that companies are going to have to do in order to attract the right people, in order to make sure they're making really good long business decisions, right? They're going to have to do that. So we're seeing them implement more gyms, more cafe type programs, where there are healthy food choices, where people can, pick something that's really beneficial to them. We're also seeing them create in their quiet rooms more prayer, meditation type, yoga type of areas where they can actually, people can go in and work out at their leisure. Not just the traditional type gaming type things, but more relaxation, more opportunities. And of course, bringing back the masseurs, the massage therapists, so that the people can get, kind of the chair massage. And wellness is a big deal. Even for me personally, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I want to work with a place that has a masseuse, right? That sounds great. And healthy food, so you like Snickers bars and stuff like that?
Yeah, no healthier choices. Hummus. Hummus would be like a really healthy choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're seeing more refrigeration, like, when you go into Quick Trip or someplace like that, right? You can pick what it is that you'd like to have. It's not vending machine driven. So people are being more conscientious about what options they're giving to their employees. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about getting your folks in and keeping them happy and healthy and productive. So what are you seeing for trends for getting employees in? Are more employers concerned about, hey, maybe you really want to attract your employees to the space for collaboration? And
yeah, that's definitely important. Of course, all of the surrounding things that we typically look for, right? Restaurants and what is nearby for shopping and all of those regular amenities. But some of the things we just mentioned, as well as, the wellness components, they're just as important. Of course, people are concerned about, the millennials. How do we attract them? Yes, we do these really great internship programs, but we're now modifying the facilities so that the facilities look attractive to the millennial when they come in for the internships. I've had clients who have lost candidates, and one of the feedbacks they received was it was the facilities itself. It was outdated, it was a little stale, it didn't allow for a lot of collaboration, it didn't have heads down rooms or quiet rooms where they could go, because really I think with the millennial group, they're more about work-life balance, right? And so the other challenge is if we do a lot of that, right, then how do we, maybe distance ourselves from our already existent boomers, right, and our generation X and Yers. So there's a good thin line between trying to balance attracting the new talent and maintaining the right environment for those that are still there that are not millennials.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you mentioned a quiet room. So I guess that's more of a need when you have a lot of open space and a lot of people working on benches with headsets, right? They need a place to go.
Right. Well, and we're high technology companies now, right? So a lot of people like your Googles and Microsofts and places like that, or Siemens, these larger companies, they have all these various divisions. And so in some cases, they're opening up the spaces and they're trying to get that more collaborative. And when you do that, then you lead to not having enough quiet space or downtime space. People are moving to benching versus traditional, walled cubes and things like that. So the balance or percentage or ratio of quiet space is really, really important.
Okay. Well, Francina, if our guests, our listeners and viewers are concerned about recruiting and retention, and they come to you and say, all right, hey, we're going to build a new space out or we're going to renovate, that is really our main concern. What would you start off talking to them about? What would you ask them or suggest to
I
them?
would ask them, why? What is it that they want to accomplish with the renovation? Who are they exactly trying to recruit? What age group? What industry? Are there any business trends that they're looking? Is there any new markets that they're trying to enter into? Where are they attracting the talent from? Is it just a mass whoever applies for the job, or are they recruiting through colleges and universities? And so I would ask them all of those kind of strategy type questions, in addition to what do you want the look and the feel of the space to be at the end of the day, because it still needs to be a place that you can live in too, right? So we would ask a lot of different questions prior to trying to design the space. It's really the psychology behind what it is that you're trying to accomplish long term. And again, everything we just discussed is just as important, but how we deliver that space will determine based on your culture, right? Your culture, your corporate values, your long-term strategies. And as I always say, if you know where you want to be in 5 years, that's great. But what is it going to take to get there? And then when we get there, is it going to be outdated?
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about wellness. We've talked about recruiting and retention. What about productivity? If viewers out there and they're like, hey, all that's great too, but isn't it about productivity, making money?
Oh, yes. Yes. It's all about making money and productivity, but flexibility is what's going to allow you to be able to do that. When you're trying to recruit and retain, people are looking for flexibility, aren't you? I'm looking for flexibility. I want to be in an environment where, yes, I can use all my gifts, my talents, my knowledge, but I also want to be in an environment that's flexible, that allows me different types of workspaces. Because, people, what I usually hear, because a part of our strategy is programming, right? So we're asking questions of the end user. They want to be able to get up. They want to be able to use a sit-stand desk, right? They want to be able to walk around. They want to be able to, go talk to a friend, or they want to be able to stand and work, So flexibility, I think, is really important when you're designing your spaces, and just, trying to make do a really good job at attracting the right talent. You really need to be a flexible employer.
Yeah, and when it comes to flexibility, Francina, is you can do it with the space, and you can also do it with the furniture choices, right?
Yes. It's so many cool things out there right now that you can use, and what we're seeing is a number of things. At first people were taking out some of the traditional cubes, now they're putting them back in. Then they were taking out, no high walls, and now some people are like, well, we still need a little bit of a wall, know. So I think that we've gone to the extreme right, or the extreme left, depending on who you are. But I think we're coming back and trying to really find that balance and that mixture, and really being transitional in the way that we deliver the space versus we're just all going to this one trend of open plan, right?
Yeah.
I don't think total open plan is a benefit, right, just by itself. I think the nuances of different types of workspaces and offices, really understanding your employee population, is really going to make you the best employer.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're talking with Francina Price about office tenant strategies. And Francina, one of the things that we hear a lot from our tenants that we rep for space is they're trying to cut costs down. They're trying to get the square footage per employee down. So what do you see in design and construction today? Are you seeing that continue to compress? And are you seeing any trends the other way? Or any companies having a little bit of issue with maybe too many people and too little space?
I see all of that. Some of it is some companies maybe went too far to the right or to the left, and so they're having to come back and reevaluate and recalculate, right, because of the complaints. The employee satisfaction rates are not as high as they felt that they would be. So in those cases, again, a lot of it has to do with what is the work the employee is doing. So you really need to match, right, the space with the type of work. Is it a more teaming environment? Is it more of a I work heads down by myself kind of environment? And so I think sometimes as business leaders, we've gone too far to the left or to the right, but people are coming back and they're just simply reevaluating now that they have some data, right? So now they're making adjustments. Yes, there are still people that want to reduce the overall head count. There's not head count, but the square footage
yeah.
per head count, and that is still necessary, right? Just for long-term goals. But at the same time, this time, let's make sure we put the right type of furniture, the right type of workspaces in place. And so it's just a little combination of juggling, I think, and I think that'll still go on as we continue to learn from our employee populations.
Okay. All right. And, I think when I'm working, I like to concentrate on my clients' needs and, and think about today and down the road. And I like to concentrate. So if I hear a lot of people talking around me and things sometimes, and I get interrupted, I still want that private office. So it's amazing. So Francina, before you have to go, you're dealing with office tenant strategies all the time. What would you say are the main top 3 mistakes that an occupier should avoid related to their space? And to throw this out at the beginning, is timing one of them? Does sometimes they start too late in the process?
Yeah, definitely. I am a big advocate of start as early as possible. Plan as much as you can on the front end. So I would say start earlier. Make sure you choose the right space for the long haul.
The space or the location, or both?
Both.
Okay.
The location, the space that you need, and really make sure you do your change management, your workplace strategy. What is it that you want to use your space for? How is that conducive to the product or the service that you're delivering for your customer, right? And make sure that when you're doing that, you get the end user's input.
Yeah,
you need their input.
And I like how you said for the long haul.
For the long haul.
Because sometimes we'll have tenants come to us and say, hey, I want 12,132 square feet. I'm like, well, how long is that the exact number you're going to need?
Yeah. It's not an exact science,
Yeah.
right? And because our environments ebb and flow, right? So 1 minute you might have a little bit of shrinkage, and then you have a boom. You have to plan for that as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And I know, as business leaders, we are doing the best we can with the planning, but I think that you just got to get out there sooner. Take the time to plan. That is like my pet peeve,
Yeah.
It's like, please plan.
All right, and the third mistake to avoid?
The third mistake to avoid is do your due diligence on the property management company that's managing the buildings. It's really important to know, that this property team is going to really provide the level of service that you need as a tenant. And so sometimes I know people are looking for the lowest deal, but hey, money is important. But you want to do your due diligence on the property management company that's managing the facility,
Yeah.
especially a janitorial group that they use.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's so true. How many times is the janitorial in there? The security, how fast is the management react to
The
things?
elevator.
The elevator, how
The
fast?
yes.
Yeah, that's so key because I've owned my own building for my business, and when we outgrew it, the best space for my business was not a building that was available, so I ended up leasing, and that was a big concern to me. Is hey, is the management are they responsive and do they take care of the place?
Right.
So I think that's a very good
Yes.
tip. Very good, Francina. Thanks for joining us. Good information as usual.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, and thank you for joining us, and stay with us. We'll have a broker's view of office tenant strategies right after this short message. Stay with us. This is America's Commercial Real Estate Show.